Thank you for joining us for the Labor Day Bash at Albuquerque Dragway. It was Friday, August 30th and Saturday, August 31st, with an 8-car field for the real Outlaw door slammers and a 4-car field for the New Mexico Nitro Championship. It had not been since 1973 that we had 4 Nitro cars in Albuquerque. There was lots of actions and some surprises. We hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome for another edition of the Rods Races. We're coming to you from the Labor Day Bash out here at Albuquerque Dragway. And joining us is Robert Costa. Hey Robert, how's things looking tonight?
It's going great. We got a lot of cars out. We got 8 real Outlaw door slammers and 4 Nostalgia Nitro funny cars. It's been a long time since we've had 4 funny cars out here of this caliber. The weather's about as good as you can get. Nice. Yeah, no, it's fantastic out here, and anyone who's not here, they're missing it.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit. Last time we were out, we actually had the fuel altereds who were running against the rods. Are we going to see something like that tonight, or is there another event the funny cars are out for?
No, the funny cars are doing their own event. It's the New Mexico Nitro Funny Car Championship. So somebody's going to get the bragging rights for the next year at least. And then the rods cars are doing their own thing. And the big difference between the Nitro cars and the Western Fuel Altereds that were here is the Nitro cars are running at least 90% nitromethane, where the other cars were running 100% methanol.
Wow. And so with the New Mexico Nitro Challenge, is there any grudge matches going on? I see the cone hunters out, and of course he's got some competition, but do we have any cars that came in from out of state?
We do. 2 of the cars are from New Mexico, being Lyle Greenberg and Ray Stringer. The other cars came from, Keith Jackson came from Colorado, and Dave Gallegos came from Kansas.
What kind of times do you think we'll probably see?
I think we're probably going to see probably a low to mid 6 seconds in the quarter mile, which is very good for this altitude.
And I guess we have a couple of sponsors for Low ET and Top Time.
We do. We have the Super Nationals, the big car show in January at the fairgrounds, as well as I believe it's Two Brothers Landscaping.
Yeah, absolutely. And so is that going to be a big award on Saturday for that then, or does that actually have them both Friday and Saturday?
No, just on Saturday. And also do want to mention that we have Ben's Automotive from Santa Fe, who's our title sponsor for this race, as well as Homes by Labbate and TPC Roofing.
So do you think we're going to have a battle with Labbate and Cordova again come down at the end for rods?
Well, we'll just have to see. With the random draw, anything can happen. So they could be in the first round or the second round, but both cars are tuned up and I think they're ready to go. They've both done work on their cars since the last race, and I think we're going to see some better times this weekend.
All right, well, we're looking for a lot of fun this weekend, so stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of interviews and a lot of fast racing on the track. All right, joining me is Keith Jackson out of Denver. So what brought you down to the show?
Lyle Greenberg's a good friend of ours, and he approached me with this deal back in like January or December, I think it was, and said they were going to have 4 cars here. And then my father and my uncle used to race here in a fuel altered, a high-heavy fuel altered, back in the 70s, so I jumped at the opportunity to come race here with the new cars. So.
You've got a Funny Car Chaos t-shirt on. Have you been running with them this year?
Yeah, we haven't chased the championship this year. This is the first year they've had a championship series. We've only run 2 of their races this year. Just we've had a lot of other stuff going on with business and stuff, and we're looking forward to running here, and then we'll run the final Chaos race in about a month.
So tell us a little bit about the name. Is it an honor to the Nitro Funny Car you had, or the Fuel Altered, excuse me?
Yeah, it's my uncle Cal and my dad Les. They originally had the High Heaven Fuel Altered back in the 70s and 80s. And I built this car, a nostalgia funny car. It's a true nostalgia funny car as a tribute to my uncle, my late uncle, and my dad. And just trying to have some fun with it, enjoy things. It's actually a legal Heritage Series, NHRA Heritage Series funny car. This particular car, it's a copy of an aftermarket 426 Hemi, original 426 Hemi. They're about 498 cubic inches. We have a 500-inch limit. and runs on nitromethane, burns nitromethane. It'll burn about 10 to 12 gallons of fuel per run. It's about $26, $27 a gallon right now. It has a 2-speed transmission and a 3-disc centrifugal clutch. 2-speed, which just has a low gear and a high gear. You'll hear the cars. Usually you don't hear it when there's 2 cars running side by side, but if one car's on a single, you can actually hear them shift the car probably about half track or a little bit further on. We're trying to run. We're hoping to run like 620s or 630s, hopefully. It's pretty warm here, so that kind of affects the track a little bit, makes the air thinner. But this is very similar to there at Bandimere, and we've run 620s pretty regular at Bandimere. So if they've done a pretty good job prepping the track and everything, we should be all right. So.
Well, thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
So we're catching up with Dave here with his Nitro Funny Car. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, we're from Kansas, Manhattan, Kansas-based team, all friends and family. We got invited to come out here at Albuquerque Dragway, and it's our first time here. Passed through here going to Vegas numerous times and always wanted to come here, and so we got an opportunity. We're here to give the fans and the people a good show and have a good time, burn some nitro, so we're excited.
Have you had a chance to make a pass yet? Do you have any feel for what you might run?
No, we have no idea. We ran at Denver at the beginning of the year, and it's similar altitude, similar stuff, so I think we got a handle on it, but you never know. We've had a pretty successful season. We won a Funny Car Chaos earlier on, did some good stuff out of Pro Mod versus Fuel Altered deal. We also have a Fuel Altered setup that we run. We kind of give the crowd what they want, so we travel around, try to get races we can. And like I say, we're here, happy to be here. It's an awesome facility. I mean, look at the view behind us. It's something. It's special. And so I'm excited to be here. I'm glad you guys are all here, and just can't wait to get up there and make a hit. So it's a 69 Camaro body car. It's a old Dean Scusa chassis from year 2000 that he never ran. It's got a 90% nitromethane 500 cubic inch Hemi. Keith Blacker, it's a Brad Anderson combination. It's got a 671 high helix. Burns about 10 gallons on a run, nitromethane. So simple standard stuff, nostalgia type stuff.
Awesome. Good luck out there.
Thank you.
So we finally caught up with the Cone Hunter. I guess, Lyle, you had a lot of trouble getting out there this week.
You know, we did. You can't put on an operation like this without a few little glitches, and we had some glitches with the trailer, but my friend Wayne McLeod at Mac Hydraulics bailed me out.
Well, and I know that you invited all your buddies out here. Did you invite them all out because you knew you had an edge on them, or you just wanted to get them out so you could see how you'd run against them?
No, we invited them all out for a show. Awesome. I mean, we're here to put on a nitro show. That's what we're going to do.
Well, a few people probably know about the Cone Hunter, but for those that don't, tell us a little bit about the car.
Great. It's a 1978 Corvette body, fiberglass replica, of course. The Funny Car body, or the Funny Car chassis, was made by Victory out in California, 125-inch wheelbase. Pretty state-of-the-art type of chassis, even though it's got a nostalgia body on it. We're running a 500 cubic inch TFX Hemi motor with the Alan Johnson Stage 2 heads, 671 blower by Littlefield. The thing makes about 3,500 horsepower at sea level. Up here, we're probably down in the 2,000, 2,500 range, something like that.
What kind of ETs do you think you'll turn?
Well, you know, the track record for a nitro car right now is 6.64 seconds at 222 miles an hour. I'm out for that record. We'll see what happens.
Well, fantastic. So I know you had a lot of trouble with the trailer and the truck. How about the car? Was the car doing okay?
Yeah, the car's great. I mean, you know, we fired it up. It sounded bad. I mean, it was, when I say bad, I mean bad. It sounded great. Yeah, we're ready to go. Our biggest challenge is honestly detuning the car enough to go down this track. It's a tricky track. It's a rough track. The traction is at a premium. And so our challenge is always taking power out of the car for here.
All right, Lyle, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Out here at the New Mexico Nitro Championship, we've got a sponsor who's sponsoring Low ET, and that's Paul Fields. Tell us a little bit about how you wanted to get involved with the event.
Well, I've been involved in drag racing most of my life. My dad worked out here, I worked out here, and I've known Lyle and most of these guys for a long time. I actually do media for Funny Car Chaos, so I know a couple of the other guys, and just wanted to get involved and kind of give them something to go for the moon or shoot for the moon with. So.
Well, of course, the guys, they all want the trophy and they want the bragging rights, but a little bit of gas money doesn't hurt. They were talking about running 10 gallons of fuel in one pass. So putting up a little bit of sponsor money kind of helps pay for some of that fuel.
Yeah, maybe the alcohol, but nitro not so much. So, I think a barrel of nitro is $2,000. So, $200 goes a long way, especially if it's tow money or something like that. But anything that I can do to help is gonna happen.
Tell us a little bit about your business.
So I own Two Brothers Landscaping. We're based out of Albuquerque. I've been doing landscaping for about 5 years now, and we actually just won Best in Rio Rancho, top 3. We were number 2 in Rio Rancho. We are currently going for number 1 through 5 in Albuquerque, and we are going to be the face of landscaping from ABQ the magazine for the November and December issue.
All right, so tell us a little bit about your camera and your equipment. How long have you been shooting, and did you just grow up around the drag strip and it was just a natural? You wanted to catch some of the excitement for your buddies?
Yeah, well, it all started with a cell phone, which is how most people started, but I've got a Canon 80D. I've got 2 lenses. They're both prime lenses, and I don't know, I guess I just started taking pictures one day, and it turned out to be pretty good. So, that's what I'm doing now is landscaping and photography.
How would people get a hold of you? They got a tree they need to take out or a whole new yard they need to put in?
You can find us on Facebook at Two Brothers Landscaping, or you can check out our website, twobrotherslandscapingnm.com.
All right. Well, I thank you very much for supporting racing. Without businesses and people like you coming out and putting a little money into the kitty to help out, I mean, racing just probably wouldn't exist in New Mexico. So thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks a lot, David.
The first round of the New Mexico Nitro Championship qualifying had Blown Senseless versus High Heaven. Blown Senseless with a 7.08 at 153 with a reaction time of .0702. High Heaven had a 9.63 at 102 with a reaction time of 1.22. The next group was the Cone Hunter in the Yearwood Performance lane, and in the quick lane was Nitro Clown. The Cone Hunter with a 7.26 at 147 with a reaction time of 1.52. Not quite as good a reaction time for Nitro Clown at .367, but still ran an 8.51 at 116. The first pass for the rods in qualifying was a single car pass with James Mosier. Turned a 5.02 at 141 with a reaction time of .82. Next single car pass was for Larry Senna with a 6.19 at 89 miles an hour with a reaction time of .18. Next qualifying pass had Malone versus King. Robert in the quick lane had a 5.75 at 119 with a .494 reaction time. And then the Yearwood Performance lane, Gordy had a 5.76 at 84 miles an hour with a .557 reaction time. The next matchup had Art Cordova versus Mike Garcia. Art with a 4.57 at 154 with a .084 reaction time, while Mike had a pass of 4.93 at 144 with a reaction time of 1.63. So it definitely looks like the reaction time helped that. The next round had Mike Labbate in the Yearwood Performance lane, while Ken Person was in the quick lane. Ken had a 5.89 at 117 with a .48 reaction time, while Mike had a 5.13 at 123 with a reaction time of 1.42. So after the first round, I'm here with Art Cordova. So Art, the track looked a little slick. Is it still slick out there, or are we waiting for some traction?
It was a little bit, not too bad. We had it set up pretty soft to make sure we'd go down. I would say it's going to get better. It's not too bad.
So what kind of time do you think you might put up in the next round?
Well, we used 2 kits on that one, so we're going to turn up the big one. So I'm hoping we'll get to pick up another couple tenths, and I'm shooting for a 30.
So last time, sorry about that. So last time you were out, had a little bit of trouble. You were having to change the starter and stuff. Things look like they're going a lot better today.
Yeah, the starter's working good. Everything's working good. So hopefully we'll get a win this weekend.
Would it help if maybe the funny cars would have gone first and maybe laid down a little bit of asphalt or a little bit of rubber? Excuse me.
I think so, but Robert said that was a good thing because they have a clutch, so maybe they leave clutch dust and that makes it a little slicker. I'm not sure.
All right, hopefully we'll see you next round.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
So we're catching up with Gordy King. That was quite a smoke show at the start line. Did you get close to the wall to the right?
I did feel it creeping over that way. We just put a brand new set of slicks on here, so kind of the protocol is get them good and hot the first time and then tone it down after that. It kind of washed out on me a little bit on the burnout, so I couldn't back myself up into the tracks I wanted to be in. And I really don't know what happened. It's kind of hard to determine if we got out there and got out of the groove a little bit and it started pushing to the wall. I saw in my peripheral vision, I could see that wall coming, and it got to the point where I got uncomfortable, so I just got out of it.
Yeah, I couldn't tell from where I was, but it looked like you got pretty far over there. So going into the next round, I mean, what are you looking to maybe short term try and make an improvement on?
Well, actually, we're going to make a determination after that run. A lot of times, being with the new set of slicks that we have here, was that kind of a fluke run? So we really don't like to make a lot of changes if we're going to go up there and try the left lane first before we actually determine, do we really have a chassis adjustment that we need to make, or was that kind of just maybe some bad traction out there, got a little bit into the marbles? So I think we're going to leave it alone and just try to get in the left lane and see how she does over there before we make a major determination.
How many runs can you get out of a set of slicks?
Well, generally you like to get about 30, 35 runs out of them.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize it was that much. So does it take 3, 4, 5 runs until you actually scrub them in?
Yeah, actually, that's about correct. About 3 runs is about really what it takes to bring them around to get a good grab, get them scrubbed off and see what they're going to do for you. We've measured the circumference on them, and the circumference is the same. So we're just going to have to chalk that up to a little fluke deal and see if we can't try the other lane and see how she treats us.
All right, good luck out there.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, joining James Mosier. Hey, you got out there and ran a 5:02. What'd you think?
I think it's a pretty good track. We're going to start turning it up a little bit. Last weekend we had a bunch of issues, or not last weekend, but last time we had a bunch of issues, training issues. I think we got training issues figured out. We got it pretty detuned right now. We're just going to kind of smurf into it. We let off at about the 3:30 and still went a 5:02, so I can't complain about that.
So what more do you think you got tonight?
We're not going to push it real hard tonight. We're just trying to get this bugs worked out of this car. It's a brand new car. As you can see, it's leaving straight. It's going straight. So as we start turning it up, it's going to want to go left or right. So we'll start working on suspension after that, and we're just going to one thing at a time click into it until we got it where we want it.
So what kind of bugs did you have last time when you came out?
We stripped a gear in the reverser and the tranny and the Linko. So we took it back to the shop, we fixed it, then it started raining at the shop, so I figured it was raining here, so we didn't come back, and it ended up raining out. So this is the first time we've run the car since then. So,
well, it's quite a burnout. It kind of went almost 3/4 of the way down the track. Was that because you were just kind of trying to feather? You didn't want to like jump on the brakes or anything with it?
Yeah, so so the fuel tank's in the front, and my baffles aren't that great. I got to work on that a little bit. So if I get on the binders too hard, it'll slosh the fuel forward and it'll kill the motor. And so I just kind of eased it down a little bit. And fans like big burnouts, and Big Dad here likes big burnouts too. So anytime when you see me on the track, expect a big burnout.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate your time. Good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Catching up with Ray Stringer, you guys been working pretty hard on the car. What's been going on?
Well, of course, we heard it at the all-out call-out June 1st and had to completely rebuild it. Pretty much took the entire bottom end out. Made a few little changes and went back together with it. Smaller head gaskets, changed a few things. Intake manifold wasn't sealing when we warmed it up. So that was the thrash earlier, just adjusting. Yeah.
Well, you guys were wrenching all over it, and you made it over there. Do you think you're going to make it back out tonight?
I don't know. You heard it backfire right there on that run. We've got a rocker arm out of it. On the Chevrolet with the push rods and stuff, it's not quite like the Hemi. It's not quite as easy to turn around. We'll take our time tonight. I think we're going to go over everything real careful and be ready for tomorrow. I'll go talk to Lyle, of course. So, yeah.
Well, talk a little bit about your crew. You started to do it, and I didn't want to cut you off, but, I mean, you got quite a group over there.
Can you imagine how quick they did that? And they did such a great job, but it's all family. My mom and dad, my brother-in-law, Scott, does the clutch, and his son's involved. Friends of mine, Buck Woolen from Alamogordo, New Mexico, Paul Vineyard from right here in Albuquerque driving the Warlord Dragster. All of their kids. My kids are usually here. They all were busy tonight. My wife, family affair, and a lot of good friends. So, yeah.
So you mentioned Lyle. Lyle is gunning for the track record that you have. Are you going to be able to get him tomorrow night?
I really hope so. We learned a lot on that run on that June 1st pass when we got that record, and it showed us the potential of the car. I just a little over center, you know. And so tonight we knew the first run, okay, let's back it off. It made a good pass. It was running great to the 8th mile. It surprised me that it did that. You know, I really thought it would make it. And the intention was to lift it about 1,000 foot anyway, check things, come back tonight and lay one down against Lyle maybe, you know, have some fun. But yeah, if anyone can do it, he can. Obviously, he's got the history here, you know. So, yeah, I'll be out to watch live. If we don't get to go, we'll be watching.
Tell us a little bit about the car.
As everybody knows, steel block, 427 Chevrolet. It is an aftermarket block. It's a Dart, so it's not factory block. A lot of people talk about that. BME rods, Arius pistons, bullet cam. It's built to heritage rules. I don't have a tagged pump, but it's 19-gallon pump. Built to Heritage Series rules. The motor could go run Heritage funny car racing. Body would be the only thing keeping us from doing that. And it's all legal. The can and the blower restraints, it's all NHRA. Yeah. So 2-speed Lenco, 3-disc glide clutch from Crower. Yeah, good stuff, you know. But it's a Chevrolet, and we love it.
Well, awesome. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming by.
I'm here with Robert Malone after the first pass. So tell me, how did the track feel out there? It looked a little slick.
It was a little slick, but we went A to B. That's all that matters, you know. So now we'll turn it up a little, see what it'll hold.
So pretty good looking burnout. Are you getting good traction?
Yeah, at the burnout, and you always get good traction at the burnout, you know.
So in the last couple of races, you drew the same pill, same guy in the first round. So should we be betting? Should it be 3 in a row?
Man, I don't know. Maybe we were laughing about it at the drivers' meeting, you know, so who knows.
Well, really appreciate your paint scheme and the way you represent the forests and stuff. So Labor Day is not, you know, quite as much about, you know, the military, but every day that we have our freedom. So maybe give a shout out to the guys.
I got you. Yeah, thanks to all the military guys, all the first responders. You know, thanks for your service.
You really should come out and see his car because it's really quite a tribute to the first responders in the military. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thanks.
Round 2 had a single car pass for Robert Malone at 8.20 at 87 miles an hour, .119. The next group was Larry Senna, and he broke, so they had to take him back out of the lane. So Gordy King had a single pass at a 16.2 at 22 miles an hour, .433, as the car broke coming off the starting line. Next was a single car pass for James Mosier with a 6.6 at 71. Likewise was having trouble with traction, but had a reaction time of .813. Single car pass for Ken Person, 8.9 at 48 miles an hour with a .221 reaction time. The next group was Mike Garcia with a pass of 5.04 at 118 with a .247 reaction time. But Art Cordova didn't do very well in the quick lane with his car braking with a fiery explosion. Saturday had bracket races going on for all the other divisions, but the great weather and another pill draw was definitely entertaining for the crowd. Once again, a lot of trash talking. Mike Labbate and James Mosier will match up in the first round. Robert Malone and Mike Garcia will match up. And this is the third time they've drawn the pill together with the matchup. So we'll see who's going to come out on top.
Hey, we want to take a minute just to catch up with you. Tell us a little bit about your role here as the announcer.
Good to see you, by the way. I love being an announcer here at Albuquerque Dragway. Let me just turn this off here real quick. Especially a big show like this. We got 4 Nitro funny cars on the property. You know this, David. Yep. The first time since 1973. That Winston Championship Series race way back then. A lot of people in this facility weren't even born yet. Right. When last time we had 4 Nitro funny cars here. But having real Outlaw door slammers, funny cars, a big combo race last night. It's been a great Labor Day weekend 2019. Having a good time. I love being an announcer out here. Great people, great fun. I love these racers. I love racing, especially. I'm a big drag racing fan, so I love it. I just love it, yeah.
How'd you get started in announcing?
Well, for me, this has been more of a dream. I grew up, Epping, New Hampshire was my home track, where they have the New England Nationals, of course, every July. There was an announcer back in the 70s and early 70s named Jan Landers. He was a huge influence for me. It was the very first drag race I ever saw. I didn't even know about announcers at drag racers. I was like 9 years old. But this man, Shirley Muldowney, was there at Garlett's, the very first race I saw. Just like you, with a microphone out in the starting line interviewing folks, I was like, I think I want to do that. That's kind of cool. So Jan Landers, he's long passed away, but a legend in drag racing announcing circles. He was my big influence. Yeah.
How would people reach out to you to follow you on social media?
Sure. I am, Facebook, Gene Grant, just Facebook/Gene Grant. I'm not so much on Insta, but I'm getting there. Twitter kind of confuses me. Yeah, I think so too. I think I've aged out of Instagram, but Facebook's the best bet. Just GENEGRANT, Gene Grant. You'll see a lot of drag racing pictures, talk about these guys a lot of things about Albuquerque National Dragway, so you'll easy to tell it's me.
So Gene, tell us, what do you do for a day job?
Yep, I am the host of New Mexico in Focus on New Mexico PBS every Friday night, channel 5.1, channel 9.1 on weekends. Been there 15 years, it'll be 15 this October. We cover news and politics around the state. Drag racing is not one of them. This is my other life. So this is
politics.
Right, exactly. Okay. Although I am hoping to get Robert in for an interview at some point. Just don't tell him. Just don't tell him. I love what I do in the day job, but I like what I do on weekends as much. This is great. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and you always make us feel welcome.
I love listening to the New Mexico Motorsports Report. I never miss it. Thank you for what you do as well. Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Gene.
I love it.
All right, let's have a good show.
You got it. Thanks.
matchup is Mike Labbate versus James Mosier as they pull up to the line. Great reaction time for Mike at 5.056 with an overall time of 4.56 at 162. James Mosier had a little bit of trouble with traction, an ET of 13.49 at 36.99 for James Mosier. Next matchup was Robert Malone versus Mike Garcia. Like I said before, these guys have been matched up 3 times. Only had one other opportunity with Robert winning the victory back in the Memorial Day Mayhem. This one goes to Mike Garcia with a 5.00 at 142 for the reaction time of .228. Faster reaction time for Robert Malone at .016, but his pass of 5.17 at a top speed of 141 was not enough to beat Garcia. And a single car pass for Ken Person with a 5.9 at 108 with a reaction time of .112.
So I'm here with Ken Person. He had a first round pass, basically a single run, a 5.90. How'd it feel out there, Ken?
Felt pretty good.
So you've been away from the track for a little while.
Yes.
Glad to see you back out. What's been keeping you away from the track?
Transmission, engine, all the good stuff.
So basically, if we gave you a big pot of money, you'd be back out every week.
Oh, yes.
Tell us a little bit about the car.
It's a 94 Camaro, blown alcohol injected, to Power Glide.
How long have you had it?
Since 02.
Since 02, and you've been out, about how many times you been out?
Off and on.
So is this one of your best times you've been able to put down?
Yes.
All right, well, hey, thank you so much for coming out. Good luck in the next round.
Thank you much.
So I'm now with Mike Labbate, top qualifier with a 4.57. So how'd it feel out there today?
It was good. The track felt really good. We had a little issues last night, but I think we got them all worked out. So we were just easing into it. But I think it seemed in the burnout it was making plenty of power, and down the track I think it's going to hold some power now.
Well, and I love the games that you were playing where you told them, well, I was holding back. I didn't want you guys to know what all I had. But talk a little bit about now because you've got the top time, now you automatically advance to the final round. Does that change how you would approach things, or are you going to watch the other matchup and see how that goes?
You know, we're here to go as fast as we can. So, I mean, we're going to put a show on for the crowd and try to, I don't know, there's a record that needs to be beat. So it's possible it could happen today.
You talking about the 431?
Yeah, it's possible. Actually, they've been 417 now, I think. So we got to step it up a little bit.
Well, fantastic. We'll talk a little bit about what you do during your day job.
Well, I'm into construction. I work, seems like 10 hours a day, so I can play with this thing, and it's pretty expensive hobby. So, but it's worth it.
Well, we appreciate you going one step further and also sponsoring. So you're also putting money back in to continue to build. The car count seems to be holding about 8. Are there more cars in town that just haven't come out yet?
It seems like every race we get, 8, 10, and then we get 8 new 10. We just got to get them all out here on the one time, and it's an expensive sport, and we're racing for pennies, so it's hard to always make every race.
The drivers always think it's pennies, and the promoters always think it's hundreds. But I appreciate where you're coming from. But talk a little bit about your car, about what kind of setup you might put up in the final round.
No, we're going to. I bet we only made about 20 pounds of boost on that one. So he's got the computer out right now, so I'm sure he's plugging in a few numbers. It had a little bit too much wheel speed down low. It shook just a little bit, so we probably just need a little more power on the shift, and then just see if we can make these top fuel funny cars look funny.
There you go. Well, good luck in the final round.
Hey, thank you.
So I'm here with Mike Garcia after a first round with a 5.00. How did it feel out there?
That wasn't too bad. Had to drive a little bit. It was a little loose.
So do you think the tower lane is going to be the better lane tonight?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm going to have to go talk to Mike Labbate and see how his pass felt in the left lane.
Well, I'm going to tell you, that was a 4.57, and as both of you looked really hooked up. That's one thing I noticed, that they're still having traction problems with the other cars. Kins was a pretty good turn too, but he wasn't putting down as much power. So you think you're going to end up probably matched up against Mike in the final round?
I hope so.
So of course you've drawn the pill with Robert, like week after week after week, and so you guys finally got to settle. How did it feel to finally settle that?
Found it good. Felt real good.
Tell us a little bit about your car.
So my car is a 69 Chevelle, has a 632 cubic inch big block Chevy in it. Right now I'm just running a single stage of nitrous. So it's a baby motor compared to some of these other cars.
Well, thank you so much and good luck next round.
Sure. Thank you very much.
So we're coming to you from day number 2 out at the Labor Day Bash and catching up with Reggie Tibbetts. He's one of the sponsors for the Fast ET. And of course, we all know Reggie from Super Nationals. How you doing, man?
I'm well. How are you all doing?
I'm doing good. So even in the off season, you can't get away from cars.
You know how it is. It's car guys.
So tell me, weren't you recently out at a big show looking at some cars for upcoming Super Nationals? You got anything that you saw you might be bringing out?
I don't know that I can name any particular car, but yeah, we were out at the Pleasanton show for Good Guys out in California. There's about 3,000 cars at that event, and all the top dogs from around the country come in to win the what's called the Hot Rod of the Year. And so we were there kind of shaking hands and soliciting cars for this upcoming year. We've got some things online.
Well, that's fantastic. I know you kind of want to keep them in your pocket. Probably don't get them all nailed down. If it's like New Mexico, everything's like the last minute. But you got a camera and stuff and coming out and participating. So putting up a little bit of money for the Fast ET. Tell us about that.
Well, Robert and Albuquerque Dragway have been sponsors of ours forever, and so we just thought it was time for us to step up and help them as well. We threw a little money at the top ET for the drags today, so it's going to be fun. Can't wait to see who's going to win it.
So when can we go online and start getting some information about the 2020 Super Nationals?
It's probably going to be a while. We typically don't post anything till after SEMA, because SEMA is where we get our last kind of calls for different types of cars and things. So it'll be after the SEMA timeframe, which is clear into November.
Well, thank you so much for coming out and supporting racing.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I like focusing on the hairs on the...
Second round matchup had Mike Garcia versus Ken Parson. Garcia with a victory of 4.86 at 145 with a reaction time of 0.271. A little bit faster reaction time. Ken Parson had a reaction time of 0.272, but his 5.91 at 103 was not enough to advance. Garcia will advance to face Labbate in the championship round. Labbate with a single car pass at 4.77 at 122 with a reaction time of 0.120. You got to wonder what Mike has left in the bag, because he definitely took his foot off the accelerator. And for the Nitro Funny Cars, we had a single car pass in the first round for Keith Johnson and High Heaven in the quick lane at a 10.89 at 108 with a reaction time of 0.083. The next matchup was the Nitro Clown and Dave Gallegos in the quick lane against Lyle Greenberg and the Cone Hunter in the Yearwood Tower lane. Dave Gallegos gets into the wall, but still has a 10.35 at 81, with a reaction time of 2.57.
All right, so we caught up with the driver after. It looked like a little rough ride, but the car doesn't necessarily look too bad. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm okay. That safety equipment comes in and it does what it's supposed to. It protects you. You know, I had him covered. I was trucking. It was lit. Hauling ball. Got out there. Got out there a little bit. Started shaking a little bit. I was getting ready to hit high gear. It got over in the marbles. I was like, nope, here it comes. I got off it. Tried to stab it because I heard him coming. I thought, got to get on it. Got on it, and the ass come around, smacked the wall, bam. I was like, you know, hey, I gave him a good entertainment, gave him a good show. I'm going to go up there. We're going to try to fix it. Everything's looking like we have parts to fix it. So if the body's all right, we're going to go back up there and go again.
Well, that's fantastic. But first off, I'm glad you're okay, and a great piece of driving. I got to ask you, how long have you been driving? Have you ever had an experience like that before?
Oh, yeah. I've crashed a top fuel car at 280. I flipped a fuel altered in reverse. They happen. If you get, I probably got about 200 runs in a, I would say 6-second to a 4-second car. If you get enough runs in them, you're going to crash. I got to meet Big Daddy Don Garlitz. He says, can I give you some advice? I said, sure, Big. He said, look, there's only two kind of drivers in top fuel. Ones that crash and ones that are going to crash. As long as you're okay with that, you'll do just fine. So,
all right. Well, thank you so much for talking with us. Thank you for being in one piece. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Have a good round.
We'll get her fixed.
And the final for the New Mexico Nitro Championship had a matchup with local Lyle Greenberg and the Cone Hunter with Keith Johnson out of Denver. Victory goes to Keith Johnson in the high heaven at 8.01 at 141 with a reaction time of 0.141. Lyle Greenberg at an 8.09 at 209 with a reaction time of 0.143. Pretty close reaction time. But the championship leaves the state with Keith Johnson.
So joining us is the champion, Keith Jackson, of the New Mexico Nitro Championship. So what do you think?
It's great. It wasn't pretty, but a win's a win. It was challenging. The racetrack's kind of marginal. It wasn't nothing with the racetrack. Just these cars make a lot of horsepower. When it's hot like that, it makes the track difficult. So it's just a challenge, you know. But hats off to Ray. He made 2 awesome runs. And it was a good race, you know. It was challenging, but it was fun. Glad to be part of it, and glad to be part of the champions.
Yeah, I was going to say that's quite a trophy. How does that fit in with your other victories?
It'll fit great on the shelf. We got plenty of them, and we want to keep adding.
And so you're out of Colorado, right? So how long's the tow, and how much difference does it go into setting up the car when you run it here versus in Denver?
Well, relative, the air is almost identical to what it is at Bannerman, but with no disregards to Albuquerque whatsoever, Bannerman's a national event track, so it's a lot better racetrack. but you have to run the cars hard enough to compensate for the air, and then that makes it difficult to get down the racetrack. But at the same time, it puts an awesome show for the fans. It's only about a 8-9 hour drive for us, so it's not real bad. Weather was great. The weather's been great all weekend, so that's nice. No rain. I guess you guys get a lot of rain here about this time of year, so I'm kind of happy about that. But no, it was all in all, it was a good weekend. You know, the hospitality here has been awesome. All the fans are great and everything. Just glad to be on top.
So you're going to be able to come back next year and defend?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Don't ever leave nothing unturned.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
And the final for the real Outlaw Door Slammers was between Mike Labbate and Mike Garcia. Mike Labbate with the victory at 4.50 at 163 with a reaction time of .106. Mike Garcia had a 4.8 at 145 with a reaction time of .202.
All right, so joining us tonight's winner, Mike Labbate. How was it, man?
It was awesome. Good run. It was a close race. We got it down, so no problems.
So are you happy with the 4.5?
I mean, I'm happy with the win line.
You won, right?
The win line's the always good thing.
Yeah.
But no, I want to thank Wayne McLeod wherever he went. He's walking over there. He does all the tuning and getting it down the track, and I mean, if it goes down and the wind light comes on, I'm a happy boy.
All right, well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You betcha. Thank you guys for doing this.
So I hope you enjoyed the show. They have racing out at Albuquerque Dragway through October. You can check their schedule at abqdragway.com and keep your eye out at ProView 26 and on YouTube for more upcoming events.